Good evening and welcome to the March 17th special edition of the Speedway Redevelopment Commission meeting. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. With me this evening is our Vice President, Jacob Blaisdell, our Secretary, Chris Meeder, our members, Rhonda Schwartz and Adam Young, also our school representative, Eric Roseborough, and also at the desk with us this evening is our Town Manager, Grant Kleinhens. Nobody in the audience this evening, but I will call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Confirm that we have a quorum and proper notice of the meeting has been given. Grant, did we receive any emails?
We did not.
To the meeting? All right. So we'll move on to the consent for the regular session meeting minutes from our February meeting. Those were previously distributed. Any questions or comments, edits?
Nope.
Great. Nope. Seeing none, we'll approve those by consent. Next is approval of the claims and expenses from the last period. We just got an update of those this morning, I think. Any to highlight, Grant?
They're fairly standard this month. You will notice that we did have 3 different bills for snow removal. We've had a little bit of snow over the past month, but the rest of it is our legal fees regarding that Reagan Outdoor Advertising lawsuit, phone bills, REA and the design of the Gateway Roundabout project, and then the gate arm that we always pay for. Fairly standard stuff.
Right.
And the claims, I need to make sure this is set on the record. Claims are in the amount of $7,690.67.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the claims as submitted.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. On to our director's report / manager's report. Grant?
I don't know that I have a lot this evening. You will notice that the Gateway sign, we have started doing kind of the rotation of the holiday themed. I know that it's currently St. Patty's Day, and then last month it was Valentine's Day. So that's kind of a nice thing. We have 6 or 7 holidays a year that we will do. After that, we'll be turning it to the IMS colors, although I don't think we have black. So that's the one flag that won't be represented. But it'll be recognizable to those that.
Just turn that letter off.
Yeah, right. It'll be black. Other than that, I don't have anything for the group this evening.
All right. Thank you so much. Next on our agenda is our new business items. We have 2 tonight. The first one being approval of the general consulting agreement with Crone and Associates for financial consulting services. We had an email from Philip on this earlier. Did you want to add anything to that, Grant?
Only that we desperately miss Jennifer Hudson. She did such a fantastic job, but she has moved on, and we need to find different representation. I think the firm that she came from and that we are using, we just don't feel we're getting the level of service that we need. So I know Philip and I kind of talked to a couple of different firms, Crone and Associates, a smaller firm. We feel like they have the capacity and the ability to represent us. I will point out that the monthly fee amount is $200 more than what we were paying for Jennifer. And I feel like what Jennifer giving us was a steal. Mm-hmm. But we recommend approval. This has been reviewed by the attorney, and we don't have any other issues with it.
Any questions?
So can you tell us a little bit about what
Sure.
what is it that Crone's going to do for us?
Yeah, so on a monthly basis, they create kind of the financial report that is provided to each and every member of the Redevelopment Commission. They also will assist in our annual reporting requirements to overlapping taxing entities. You'll remember in July timeframe, we always give that report and then have to send out letters and notices. Those are things that they will help with, as well as just general financial advice when we're looking at economic development deals or the impact of things. They will provide that kind of numbers crunching. So I would say some months we're going to get a really good deal because they do a ton of work. Some months they're going to get a little bit of a deal because they're not going to necessarily do as much work from the same every month, if that makes sense. Without them, though, it'd be very challenging for us to do kind of the analysis that is required when we are looking at our bond payments in line, what amount of reserves do we need to hold, those different kinds of things.
I think just from a general discussion, I mean, at the end of the day, I think municipalities and people really, we have to sometimes depend on accountants and different people that help us really analyze the numbers. And obviously, we are working with a lot of large numbers, so we want to make sure that we are prudent in the decisions that we make. So it makes sense for us to hire groups like Crone and Associates to do this type of work. But I also want to make comment that I feel like from an efficiency standpoint, as technology continues to get stronger, we probably can look for pathways to use different artificial intelligence as time allows and we become more comfortable and become more confident really in what it does and how it does its analysis in the future. So something to keep on our horizon as time progresses, I just think would be prudent on our end.
And I know Philip had a couple conversations with Jared about potentially teaching him some of this monthly work too, and kind of setting him up to do some more of this work internally in the future too. So I think Jared will be a great help in that.
Just think a lot of like costs and things are kind of out there for the public to know and see already. So this wouldn't be something that I wouldn't see as a big risk if we kind of even kind of practice with it, just to kind of compare it to as those conversations are happening. So something to put out there to think about.
Any other comments? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for approval of general consulting agreement with Cronin Associates for financial consulting services.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. Our next item of new business is approval of a proposal for a traffic impact study and alternatives for Founders Square. Grant?
Yes, so as you know, this has been a hot topic over the past couple of months. It comes up generally every time this year when the weather switches from bad to good and everyone wants to wash the salt and the sand and the residue from the winter weather off. It gets busy at Crew Car Wash. Crew Car Wash is located there. It does impact every business inside that development, as well as the residents and customers who are going in to use all of those different establishments. So one of the things I discussed with Jennifer was having the Redevelopment Commission consider hiring a traffic consultant to look into some options for capital improvements, soft changes out there that might be low cost or no cost, but would impact the way traffic flows. I'm not confident there's going to be a ton of those, but then some low cost and then even the higher cost elements that might include adding a lane or a turn lane or another entrance, those kinds of things. The problem that we do have, and I need to make sure that this is clear on the record, that Crawfordsville Road is not controlled by the town of Speedway. It's a City of Indianapolis road. The on and off ramps for I-465 is an NDOT controlled area, and High School Road is controlled by the City of Indianapolis. So just offering a new curb cut or opening a new driveway, that's very, very challenging with all of those considerations. But we do need to look at what potentially could make improvements. Then, armed with that information, I think we will meet with Crew. We've reached out to them. We will meet with the other developers or the other entities in the park and try to figure out what solutions can be made for that will improve the situation. I have said it before, and we talked about this at my casual conversations at the council meeting. I think sometimes just not everybody trying to go at the same time is the wisest way to address these things. And I know people out there are screaming at me right now, and I get it. But I go after a council meeting at 8:15 or 8:30 at night. I don't have a problem, right? If you all go at 5 o'clock, you're going to have a problem. So just keep that in mind. But we have two proposals, one from United Consulting, one from First Group Engineering. I spoke with both of these parties. We actually reached out to a third and had a conversation, A&F Engineering. They declined to submit a proposal. So I think at this point, staff is recommending the lower cost proposal, First Group Engineering, in the amount of $10,800, which includes some traffic analysis, potential look at internal improvements and cost estimates. It'll kind of be a three-pronged approach. And I think we are asking them to have this done by the end of May so that we can potentially make some have some discussions and make some decisions to either make some improvements this year or schedule them to be made next year, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? I was just going to add a little bit of color to the conversation that we've had internally. I think we're caught kind of in a rock and a hard place here because we want this development to succeed. We want these businesses to do well. We want them to be open and amenities for our residents here. But this is a private development. It's private businesses, private property. So we're using municipal dollars to try and help the situation, but want those monies to be used wisely as well. So we're taking this first step here to see what our options are, and we'll kind of see what unfolds from there. But.
Yeah, I think it's maybe also worth noting that there's only so much you can do as far as getting people through the car wash faster. It's more of just trying to make sure that people trying to access other businesses in the area have that ability to do that while the car wash is really busy. So that's kind of just the goal, I guess, at this point.
Mm-hmm. And I will say it is problematic for everyone because it does back up all the way to High School Road and onto Crawfordsville Road, and
Yeah.
you know, that is a problem, and we need to figure out. But I will say every other crew car wash in the central Indiana area has the very same issues. And I know that because I see it, but also when I worked at Brownsburg as a town manager, we had crew come in and we went through an entire process to try to make sure they had, I think they almost had 80 or 90 cars stacking on the road into the development and on their property, and it still gets busy. I mean, it's just what happens. So.
Yeah, I mean, the more lanes you have, the more cars they're going to
Yep.
get to come
Yep.
through there at that time.
Yep.
All right, if there's no other comments, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the traffic study proposal with First Group Engineering.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. No old business on the agenda tonight. Any events coming up?
Can't think of any at the moment.
Okay. Well, the weather's starting to get nice, so please go out and visit all of our local businesses and restaurants, and we will see you next month. I'll adjourn the meeting at 6:13.